Bitch, yo, gag. Bitch, yo, gag.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Talk the Walk podcast. My name is China Black, the icon, and I am sitting here today with the legendary, all hell, Anjell, LL legend, grand entrance. And because we have the grand entrance here today, we are going to start our first receipt, okay? This is where we tell the girls the things that we've done and why we don't have to ever again. All right. She started at Frederick Douglass High School Models, Catwalk Classics 07-08, Fuji Boot Camp Instructor circa 2009, Models Inc., Living Legends, Righteous Ones Entertainment, Female Figure of the Year circa 2019, Female Figure Runway Trophy After Trophy, Queen of Living Legends Evolve 2012 to 2013, worked for teams such as Bard High School, Icon Models, Urban Couture, featured on BET Wow, Wild 'N Out, DC Fashion Week, New York Fashion Week, Ouch Magazine, African Limelight Magazine, Netflix Next in Fashion, and now Women's Runway for the House of Miyake Mugler. Period. Okay, this is a legend. Okay, so you want to be a legend.
Oh, a star.
Okay. Thank you so much for coming and joining us on the Talk the Walk podcast. We have been waiting for you.
Oh,
the people said, when you going to have Anjell?
Oh my God.
For real. The people were wanting you. You know, I've been wanting you. You know, you were one of the people that I talked to about doing this podcast.
Yes.
You are also one of my friends outside of this interview. So this should be very fun and breezy.
Mm-hmm.
Give me 3 words to describe Anjell.
3 words to describe myself would be passionate, resilient, and loyal.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
I want to ask you about resilient without you going too far in depth because we're going to, you know, I know your story, so we're definitely going to unpack, but just give me a little bit of why you said resilient.
I said resilient because I have been through a lot of self-destruction. And through it all, I keep going.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've whooped my own back. So for me, through all of that and the mental battle of it throughout my life, I'm very resilient.
Let me tell you something. You don't look like what you've been through.
Thank you.
For real, like you definitely, when we do this, people will hear what they can't see. You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
Because you wear your what is it? Your scars well. Like nobody knows the trouble I've seen.
Okay.
This lady is truly a resilient woman. I'm so excited to have you here to tell your story. So let's get into childhood. So what was growing up for you like?
So childhood for me, I would say was kind of lonely in a sense, feeling like misunderstood all the time. I felt like when I was younger, my mom just she had a lot of focus on other things. So when I would ask her questions, she would kind of like quiet me or like, you know, shh, like, so I felt like I shouldn't be talking. And like, I grew up in the suburbs.
Come on, suburbs.
Because
all your life?
Yes. I mean, like we were in Bladensburg till like I was like 9.
Okay.
Because I was born in Howard University Hospital.
Period.
Okay.
But
so I was like 9. We were living in Bladensburg, and then we moved to Upper Marlboro. So from 9 until like I was in Upper Marlboro, and I was like, you know, my older brother. My brother, that's my idol. I kind of did everything that he did.
Okay.
Honestly and truly. And, you know, he was a boy. So it was kind of like, girl, what are you doing? But I didn't care. Okay. So for me, at first, you know, I was just very quiet. And when I got into, and shy, and I'm still shy to this day. I'm introverted as hell. But if I know you and I'm comfortable with you, I will be my complete self. If I don't know you, I will allow you to see what I want you to see.
Got you.
But anyway, when I was in middle school, though, like middle school was probably the hardest time for me because I was teased a lot. Bullied.
Teased about what?
My skin. Wow. Being dark skinned, being skinny. Which is actually one of the reasons why modeling was like, oh, this is my thing. Yeah. They don't care about the skinny girls.
They love the skinny
girls. They love the skinny girls. So, in middle school, that was a lot for me because that's where I feel like I compared myself the most to popular girls. And damn, I wish I had ass. I wish I had hips. I wish I had this.
Really?
Because in the Black community, you know, that's what they looking for.
It's crazy because I don't remember ass being like a thing when I was in high school.
Child.
Or like body, or like having body.
Child.
Okay.
Well, in middle school for us.
Okay.
They was looking at their ass. Okay.
I'm cracking up.
And so for me at that time, that was a more like suicidal time. I couldn't really figure out why I was here. I just felt like I was always kind of unhappy and misunderstood as well. And then when I got into high school, there was a shift that happened for me because I became the drum major of the band. Okay. So my director was going to Wise High School at the time. He was at Frederick Douglass. And then he was going to Wise High School. And before he left, he made me the drum major. Okay. So usually you're only a drum major for 1 year, and that's your senior year. But I was able to be graced with being the drum major for junior and senior year.
So were you nervous to audition for being a drum major? Like, did you have to audition?
Oh, I had to go to band camp one time in band camp.
Wow, band camp. I always hear that little saying, but like that's a real thing.
Yes, and like I didn't have to audition because he just made me the drum major. Okay. But I did have to go to Hampton University band camp. Okay. Both years.
Got you.
It was a humbling experience for sure.
But when you came back, you was like, okay, get in line, fall in line. Period.
Who's in charge of the girls?
Period. So when you became the drum major, you were more confident then about everything.
Yes, because when I was a drum major, it was like I had a duty and a responsibility to be this role model to others. So my grades were better. My confidence was better.
Right.
It was just, I wasn't even thinking. I was a leader now. So it was like, I have people that listen to me.
Yeah.
You know, I probably could have been a better leader, but I was in high school.
Well, yeah. What?
Okay. They was listening though to this little girl marching up and down.
So you had the people in line.
Yes.
Literally. Okay. So the confidence and everything comes when you start to do drum majoring. Okay. I know that you are a part of the LGBTQ community, and I wanted to know, like, how did you go about, like, coming out to your family and your friends, and like how that looked?
Yeah, so when I was younger, my mom, well, I would get in trouble for kissing girls. Like, and when I would go with this lady house, there would be this little girl there. I remember her name too, but anyway.
You're gonna keep that
right, exactly. But I used to kiss her and whatever. And one time we got caught, and so the lady told my mom. My mom was like, "What are you doing? You know, kissing all these girls." Da, 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 da. So it was like always with me, like with like just being attracted to women or playing around with women and stuff like that. I didn't actually come out until college.
Okay.
I think my mom more so just literally was like, girl, it's just a phase. You sure it's not just a phase? Da, 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 da. Because I mean, it's college. So that's where women experiment the most.
Right.
And before that, it was like, I did have a situation with my stepfather where he had seen on this picture that this girl had gave me. and it said like "to my lover."
Not
but
my
it
lover.
really wasn't nothing between me and the girl. I think that's when we just used to say stupid shit. And so he was like, "Well, what is this?" And I was like, "Nothing. Like, I would never want what I already have and all this other stuff." Like, girl, please. Yes, you did. But yeah, so for me, my experience really wasn't too bad. And I just began to bring my girlfriends around them, and that was pretty much that.
Okay.
And I do always wonder and think about if I was a mass presenting woman, if it would be different. My parents are just very like, we love you, so it doesn't matter like what you do or what you like or whatever. So maybe it wouldn't have been different, but yeah.
Shout out to Anjell's parents.
Yes,
I love them.
I love you.
So Anjell is getting married. She's a fiance.
Yeah.
And I want to know like what relationships helped you to build to the place where you were asked to be a wife?
I had a lot of different relationships that were very toxic. And whenever I say that, I also have to follow it up with the most toxic relationship I ever had was with myself. I was so young back then. And I used to always think that they was just in the wrong, but I was too. And a lot of times, and so some of those relationships, one in particular, I was very insecure because I was like always getting cheated on. I was living with this person. So, you know, you imagine 2, 3 in the morning, they leaning over on the side of the bed, texting homegirl, whoever the fuck they texting, okay? And it's like, what is going on? I was constantly compared to others, and I didn't think that I was pretty or enough or had any value or anything like that.
Wow.
While I was in that relationship. And then after that relationship, it really was a friendly, flirty girl. So it wasn't really, she made me feel insecure, but it was just very friendly, flirty. Once I got into sobriety, it became very different because I understood who I was at that point. I knew my value and my worth at that point. So when I was in sobriety, it just came to I'm very intuitive. So it came to a point where I would just know right off the bat how long the relationship was going to last and all those things.
Can you bottle that up and send it to me?
Yeah. So the girl before my fiance, it was like I started the healthiness there. I was on to something with that one. But then she still had like this thing with her ex and letting her ex use her car. What the fuck that was about?
This is an infamous story, y'all. Okay.
No boundaries.
None.
And so if she letting her use the car, then she gonna let her use the house.
If she gonna let her use the house, then she gonna let her use the bed. Okay. So
I was just like, this is not gonna work for me.
Absolutely not.
I had to go. And then me and my fiance started dating. Now, see, I have known my fiance for a long time.
Okay.
I was actually introduced to her by Justin. Honestly, I thought she was just going to be my friend because I didn't think I was her type. Because her fashion and I just didn't think I was her type. So I was just like, okay, we're just going to be friends. But anyway, it ended up being something so much more. So our relationship, the relationship that I have now is the healthiest relationship I've ever been in because we communicate.
Communication.
We communicate. We have boundaries. We work through everything together. Stuff that's new for us. And if we do kind of start getting a little flustered, it's like we really kind of take a step back and look at it like, all right, well, why were we flustered about this situation? What can we do better in this situation? Right. So it's just different. It's not perfect at all, but it is definitely the healthiest relationship I've ever been in, for sure.
And I'm just truly, honestly happy for you. Because I know that it's been a rocky road to this peaceful relationship. Yes. And I'm just excited for the wedding.
Thank you.
I'm already telling them both that I'm going to do the choreography for the wedding. So y'all just be ready for Anjell to turn it at the wedding.
Exactly.
Okay? Thank you. So you're in Frederick Douglass High School and you get into modeling. Via who?
That wasn't necessarily via anybody. I just wanted to do it because I think I always wanted to do it. And then finally I was just like, all right, let's do it. And me and my friend Camille at the time, we both tried out.
Did she
and
make
we got
it?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So me and my girlfriend tried out for Duke Ellington fashion show, and she didn't make it. She was the one who wanted to.
Oh, bitch.
Sorry. Yeah. Okay. So you make it. Y'all both make it onto the team. And what is your experience like beginning modeling?
So when I got on the team at the time, as I can recall, it was Corin, Tyler, and Billy.
Okay.
Tyler and Billy are now my best friends. Yes. And they were the fashion coordinators. And they were so creative and genius with everything that they did, from like just thrifting clothes to how we wore our hair and Billy in high school, he was giving up in pumps.
One of the girls
did not care.
One of the girls. Shout out to the legendary Billy.
Okay. So just watching them and seeing them, and also honestly, I cannot forget about Brianna, Supermodel
Brianna,
tall. Yes. And she was like one of the people that I would look at because she always did Glenn Jackson's hair shows, and she tall as fuck. She just got it all, the whole package. So watching her too was like, oh my God, like, yes, I'm trying to be like that.
Yeah.
And yeah, we had a talent show one time, or like a fashion show for the school, and everybody was just like, "Oh, I'm following you, Mom. Walking, you was doing your thing," and I was like, "Ooh!" But I really feel like when I got on the runway is when I knew that was what I was supposed to be doing.
That was it.
It was it.
That's the same for me. Like when I started doing that, I was like, I naturally could do it.
Yeah,
I just was like, this is it. Like,
exactly.
This is what I've been waiting for.
Okay. Yeah.
So I totally get that experience. Like modeling definitely has that effect on certain people, right? Because some people could do a little bit of this and then leave.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
I can't see me leaving.
Yeah, because it's just
it's just like this is my passion.
I have a question for you. So I know Billy because this is how I remember meeting Billy was because of the Catwalk Classics, right? That's the first time I ever seen him. So what was your experience doing Catwalk Classics?
Doing Catwalk Classics was such an experience, again, because just seeing them mix the music, doing voiceovers, getting the clothes, like all of those things was just such an experience. I will never forget April 26, 2008. I just will never forget it. And it's always with me because I was like waiting for that day and I couldn't wait to do Catwalk Classics. Everybody couldn't wait to do Catwalk Classics
was the shit.
It really was.
For our generation.
It really was.
Shout out to Catwalk Classics. Shout out to Fuji because Fuji is an icon and he's the one who started Catwalk Classics. And then there's also Teens Count for the girlies who did not get to experience this part of the modeling scene. Like that was a thing. And so I know that I want to ask you, what was the theme that y'all did for Catwalk Classics?
Oh my God. It was like erasing fashion. That's what it was.
I remember Billy, I got my Primatine Miss, honey, something. And just like how amazing, because I never got a chance to do Catwalk Classics. So I feel like if you did Catwalk Classics, like that was one of the history book situations. I did do Teens Count, but I feel like Teens Count was like the bottom of the whole thing. Okay. No shade. Well, I think Teens Count actually was first. Okay. And then Fuji came with
I think that him and the lady were together, and then they parted ways and he did Catwalk.
But I think it was originally them doing Teens Count and then him started. But Catwalk Classics just was on another level. Yes. Right? So like just being a part of that must have been really amazing.
It was so amazing.
So your experience, because I know that you did Catwalk Classics, but you also had some experience with Fuji like before or during that time. So like tell me about that.
So with Fuji had a boot camp that you could do. Don't quote me on everything, everybody, because as I recall, I believe like if you were in a certain high school, then you could go to his boot camp.
Okay.
I believe that's what it was like.
I know that my school wasn't on the list.
Oh, well.
So maybe that's the truth, because I don't remember that being like an option for Duke Ellington. But
yeah.
So you were one of the one of the schools.
Yeah. I believe. Or I think that just if you were in high school, you could do it. I really don't recall. But, I did Fuji's boot camp. And that man definitely for sure made me who I am today. He made me into the model that I became in the UAE CMF. Fuji was very militant.
Okay.
He definitely did things in a certain way that would definitely make you push yourself. As I said, I was a drum major.
Okay. So
one time he came to like one of our competitions, like our band competition or something. So the next time in practice, he proceeds to say, "Drum major, get out here on the floor and show everybody what you was doing at the competition." And I'm like out there like marching, like, this is so dumb. Why am I marching? Yes. And then he like, "All right, fall back in line." And he would just do stuff like that to pull that power out of you. Because I don't really like the word potential, so I use power. So he would use whatever he could to pull that power out of you. And he also did it one time when I guess somebody told him that I could sing. I think it was Corbin's
Anjell could sing, y'all.
God.
Now the world knows.
And so he gonna say, "Oh, drum major, I heard that you could sing. Go ahead and sing." And I was like, oh my God. And I was so nervous and my voice was so shaky and I started singing. But luckily at that practice, it was just for the people that was going to 106 in Park at the time. Okay. So it wasn't too many people in there. It wasn't a big crowd. Right. But I sounded crazy.
But he pushed you.
Yes, for sure.
So Fuji is the guy that pushed you to be the woman that you are today in modeling.
For sure. And I feel like everything, you always wanted to impress Fuji. Because you always wanted to be the one that he called out to be like, "Drum major, get out here. Show them da-da-da-da." And they'd be like, "All right, let me be one of them girls," So Fuji was definitely an experience that I will never, ever forget. And I always cherish that experience.
Okay. Okay. How do you get to Models Inc.? Like, how do we go from high school modeling to Models Inc.?
Okay, so high school modeling to Models Inc. Well, first of all, what I didn't say in the Fuji story was the reason why I also wanted to impress Fuji is because at that time, he was looking for 10 people to get on 106 in Park while on Wednesday.
Okay.
So I was trying to do everything in my power to do that.
Shout out to 106 in Park for giving us a platform to model on national television.
Period.
And
I wanted to be one of those 10. So I was doing everything in my power to be one of those 10. He was calling everybody's names. I was the last person to get called, but I got called.
I know you was like,
I was so pressed. I was so pressed, girl. I was in there like, "Please say drum major, please say drum major, please say drum major." And he did. I was so pressed. And I was like, "Yes, thank you."
Because that was a big deal.
Yes.
Like getting on 106 in Park for the scene itself was a big deal.
It was.
But being one of the people who actually stepped foot on that stage is such a big history moment.
Yes.
Legendary.
Period.
Okay.
So from there, being at Douglas, of course, I was around Billy, and one day he was in Models Inc. and he was Mr. Catwalk.
Shout out to Billy.
Yes.
The Catwalk.
Again, Billy is very much in my story.
Yes.
So
that's your best friend.
Well, yes. But at the time, like in high school, we wasn't as close as like we are now.
Okay.
But anyway, so we were at practice one day and he was just like, "Anjell, I feel like you should just go to Models Inc. Because you try out for Models Inc, they're going to call you Naomi Campbell Inc." And I was like, all right, I want that name. I mean, yeah, exactly. Because who wouldn't want to be Naomi Campbell Inc? Okay. I think they do have a Naomi now. But I believe so.
Okay.
But yeah, so my goal was to get at Models Inc. and be Naomi Campbell Inc. Okay. Now, what I found was far more, regal. And it's like not far more regal. Let me not say, because Naomi Campbell is right. Come on now,
the regal is
right, exactly. But they ended up naming me Goddess Inc.
Okay. Yes.
And I had to go through like a couple of phases before, I got my name.
We want to talk about phasing into Models Inc. though, real quick, because I feel like a lot of people who are in the scene now don't know about like things that used to happen back in the day when you wanted to be a part of certain teams. And Models Inc. used to do phases for you to be a part of their team. So tell me your experience in phasing into Inc. and like what that looked like.
So my phase consisted of like, I just remember we had to go to a grocery store and I had to get like a black and yellow Arizona, some black and yellow balloons, like stuff like that.
Because the team colors
was black and yellow.
Okay.
But yeah, so we had to do that, and then we had to go down to City Place.
Come on, City Place. Ellsworth. That's the new name.
Oh, it is?
Worth.
Oh, girl.
Okay. They upgraded, but go ahead.
Okay. And it was so cold outside. It was like Titanic Jack on the door cold outside. And I was like, why are we out here?
I'm crying.
And we had to like walk a long runway, might I add.
Okay, so you're model walking in
this coat that I have on. I'm like, can they even see the walk? This coat is so big. But whatever. Okay. I got through it.
So how was working under Bang?
Bang can be very like, I know what I want to see and I know what I want you to do and you need to do it.
Period.
And so like his delivery sometimes could be a little, I don't know what's the right word, curt. Abrupt, curt, aggressive.
Yes. Feeding it. Shout out to Bang. We both love you.
Yes,
okay? So,
for sure. No, seriously. But so my experience with him wasn't that bad, but I saw how he could be, with others, and maybe because I was young, I don't know, but I really didn't have too much of a bad experience with him. Just as far as like when people are talking to certain people a certain type of way, like I didn't really have to experience like. Because for me, coming from Fuji, it was just like, oh, this ain't nothing.
Right.
It's just that Bang, Bang just added curse words to it. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was the difference to me.
Tell me about, like, one of your good experiences being on that team. Like, what did you, a show or, like, a practice or?
Honestly, it was seeing people like you. It was seeing people like Stormy. I don't know when we're going to get into that, but... yeah,
we're gonna get into it.
Okay. And just seeing people do choreography. I'm not sure if the first time I was in Models Inc. I attempted to do choreography. I'm sure I probably did. But that getting chopped at balls for tens and not getting them tens. I mean, it made me who I am today.
Yeah.
So, and I think the first time I was in Models Inc., I only did like one show with them. And I don't even think it was an actual like Models Inc. show.
Okay, so it was like a performance.
Yeah, like it was just a performance actually. And yeah, and the way that they taught me how to walk as well will always be with me.
Yeah, like your what's it called? Like your platform.
Yeah.
Of like how you I get what you're saying.
And my presence, how I present myself, like will always be with me. They're great teachers.
Yeah.
So I will always have that. Always.
Do you think that you would have been as successful in the modeling scene had you stayed in Models Inc.?
I think I probably would have. Honestly. For sure. Because wherever I'm at, I always like to grow. That's in anything that I do in life.
Period.
So, yeah.
So I want to talk about how you got into Living Legends and like the whole struggle bus that you came in on with me. Because I feel like a lot of people don't know this story, and we can do this story however lightly or unlikely you like. But I do think it is a testament to your resilience, the experience, and we don't have to get into a whole lot of full on, but like this is how you came into the team. So I want to let you tell your story.
When I came into Living Legends, I had a girlfriend at the time. And I was on campus with like, you know, K. Earl, Davon, Chris, all of them, blah, blah, blah. So I got to know them a little bit better. Mm-hmm. At the time, Crystal was with you.
Shout out to my lesbian moment.
And so me coming in was just, I was green as fuck. I was so naive, and I was a very unseasoned, unfamiliar LGBTQ person. And I came in, you know, I knew y'all was together, but it also, I guess for me, was just like, okay, because like me and you weren't friends.
Right.
Probably shouldn't have did that, folks. But one night I just remember, like, because you know me and Crystal would talk or whatever, but I had a girlfriend at the time, so it was kind of like, all right, whatever. But let's be honest, Crystal. Let's be honest. At the time, she was like the dom of all doms. She was. It's just what it was. K. Earl. Yes, she was. So it was also kind of like, well, I wouldn't mind. Right. But like I said, that's me being green and naive. She called me one night and was like, me and China broke up.
Of course she did. It's like, we're not about to slay her. Go ahead.
So from that is basically kind of like how me and her started talking. Mm-hmm. From that though, of course it caused you and I to have beef.
Everything happens for a reason. Like nothing happens in God's world by mistake, right? Mm-hmm. I was not who I was pretending to be. Mm-hmm. I think that I was looking for someone to love on me, and I didn't care like who it was, right? Mm-hmm. And me and her got together, and it was what it was for a while, right? And I always wanted that love from a woman, right? Because I had issues in the beginning of my life with my mother, right? So that turned into what it was, but deep inside I knew that it really wasn't supposed to be that for me. But the way that it happened, I'm young too, right? So I'm just looking at it like this girl is coming in, taking my relationship, taking the love from me, right? And so when you got bought into the team, the people are about to gag because they don't know this.
Exactly.
When you got brought onto the team, it wasn't you. It was the situation. You know what I'm saying? It could have been anybody. I think that I tried my hardest at that age to kind of like navigate my feelings and still run the team properly without like doing the most. But there was times where I feel like I dropped the ball.
And honestly and truly, I commend you for doing that. Because I know that was hard. We just talked about how, you know, relationships with females is different. Yeah. So I know, and if that was your first love and your first everything, and to say that like you felt like I was taking that from you, I could definitely understand what you're saying right now. But we did not get that shit back in fucking 2009. Yeah. It was not happening. Yeah. And I understand. I do understand wholeheartedly.
That was like crazy, right? Yeah. I don't remember how we patched the situation.
Me neither.
But
probably when me and Crystal stopped dating. Yes, that's okay. I mean, because after that, it's like, well, what did we be before now? She's out of the picture for both of us. So.
Yeah, I think that it could have definitely been that. But I do remember this one particular time that you tell me about that you were. I'm gonna let you tell it about when you got the part. It was like a little. I don't even know if you had to audition for this part or whatever. We was at the Langdon rec, and you were like, "This when I knew that we could move around."
Are you talking about Sierra?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. I wasn't like the strongest choreography girl at the time. Oh, God. But at the time, like we didn't have that many girls, so it was kind of like whoever came to practice, girl, let me see you up here, let me see you do it. And it was like this big fan, and my hair was probably similar to how it is now, but probably not as laid. But anyway, well, depending upon who did it, because if Ramada did it, then it was laid. It was laid, period. But anyway, so it was this big fan, and it was like this little part where you do the little come up part like this, and my hair was just flowing in the thing, and you was like, Anjell, you come up here, let me see you do it in the front. And I was like, oh, well, Okay. And I think that's when I was like, oh, well, I guess she's not too upset anymore. And we were able to move past it. But honestly, our history is so crazy, which I'm sure we're not going to go into all of it. But when you told me, we had this weird ass moment one time. I forgot what show it was. I was like in the middle of the stage. The curtains was closed. Crystal was over here coming up to me. You was over here coming up to me. And I was like, and y'all both was like, this is weird. And then y'all both
I'm crying.
But I think that was the same night that you fucking damn near flew me out on the stage to battle Sherelle.
Okay, I remember that. That was Valentine's Day
Oh
Massacre.
my God.
One of the best competitions and like battle portions of any ever done. Yes. I remember that.
China.
I remember that.
I was so scared.
That was like when the people like got to really, really see you.
Yeah, like, for sure.
Because now you battling big dogs.
Exactly.
Like, shout out to Sherelle.
Yes.
The original like female figure runway.
I was so army. My arms was flying everywhere.
Everybody was army.
But everybody was army,
except for models. Envy, no shade. I feel like they was walking greatly since birth. No shade. No shade. Okay, so tell me the first time that you realized that you were a star in Living Legends.
Oh, when did you're gonna want it.
Bump.
You're gonna want it. Yeah, exactly. Like when I was in the front for that, and then I had my little part where everybody kind of like dispersed, and then I was just on the stage with the boys and the mic. And I was like, oh, because like one of my friends at the time was like, Anjell, it just looked like it was your concert. I was like, oh, yes, I'm getting up there, girl.
Yes, okay, that was Purple Rain too, right? Was that Purple Rain too?
Don't quote me. I think so.
I think that was Purple Rain.
I think
too.
It was.
Yeah. And just like the evolvement from Purple Rain 2 to what I believe is when you really, really, really took off and was like that girl in Living Legends was when you did And You Can See My Heart.
Oh, yes!
The whole like theatrical part. Because I feel like people were like, right? It was such a captivating moment for you and for Living Legends. Really. Like that moment was a moment to remember from the team, right? And that was we have shared like many moments on stage.
We have,
because that was like when I came out with the red thing on my head. That was like a moment. It was
literally a moment because I'm out here acting for blood, okay? For blood. And then here you come, and then
the spinning and the whole crowd.
Yes.
Even though there was 50 people at that show.
Was that the one that Billy was like, slay these bitches? Was that that one?
That was
it was because we did Salt. Yes. Okay.
That was when we did Salt. I think Models Inc. did like the clowns. And Exquisite did like Bombs Over Baghdad. It was just us three competing. Yes. And that was like one of the best competitions ever. It was. And there was like 15 people there. Yes. But them 15 people was on their feet. Yes. And that video of us doing Technique was like the start of like Technique becoming what it is today. Yes. No shade. No shade. What was your favorite Living Legends show?
Honestly, dang. I really loved I Am Legend. Although like the production was like from the backstage and stuff was crazy. I just feel like we had a lot of passion on that floor. Yeah. Because there was a lot going on. The teams was talking about us.
Real bad.
Well, I mean from what YouTube channels used to be out?
Chat with Lonnie.
Oh, Chat with Lonnie. And all of those things like I just feel like that ain't like we put it on the floor, like Lotto said.
Yeah, put that shit out on the floor.
We put it on the floor. So I really always would love I Am Legend, and maybe even specifically our practices for I Am Legend.
I was going to say
because when we practiced like we was on the stage already, which is what we were taught to do.
And because we all felt that hunger to like prove that we were worth it. You know what I mean? Like I feel like everybody it translated. Do you ever feel like I was too hard on the team?
No, I feel like you did exactly what you were supposed to do. When you would tell us we look terrible, we most likely look terrible. But that made us, in turn, look clean.
Yeah.
And that's why we were so clean.
Okay, so you never felt like I was a bitch. Because, the people.
You was. But at the same time, I mean, and I was a bitch too, apparently. So, I mean, what the fuck?
Who was your favorite LECL? Sean, Davon, or Neville, or Kurt? They're all from the same team.
But Davon, for me, because I came in with Davon, I will just always have a love for Davon.
Okay. So
it's Davon. Just no shade. Like, I will just always have that love for Davon.
Well, how did you become a female figure?
Oh, so now I get to talk about Stormy. I was at a ball one time and they called Stormy out. And I don't even remember what chant was going on. It couldn't have mattered. When she walked through that place with the style and grace.
Period.
It was like, I literally was just looking at her floating on the floor. Like, I was like, oh my God, I want to be like that. And then I also knew I wasn't really, I dabbled in Battle Diva, but they always shot me. So that was that. Yes. Yeah. I dabbled in Battle Diva because I was always so fucking angry. So I was like,
but that height and the skinny model face.
Like, the female figure was for me.
It was. And
to be unbothered and just know that this was my runway, like you walking on New York Fashion Week or whatever the case may be, that was my category.
Absolutely. I think that you definitely came in with that and like slayed. Because I remember I saw you when we used to do those balls at the Run and Shoot.
Yeah.
You was in ink.
Yeah.
And I think I had wings on.
Yes.
I think you used to wear contacts.
I did. Oh God, don't bring up the contacts.
The fact that I remember this stuff is saying a lot about you.
Yeah.
Okay? Because like I don't remember much, but I remember you from then.
Them color contacts.
That was female figure.
Yes.
So you have been like really doing that from the very beginning of your time in the scene.
So that, I mean, honestly, Bang and Mother have a lot to do with the fact that I did that category. Because they put me in that category.
Okay, so who were some of your rivalries in the scene?
Asia and Aziza.
Asia and Aziza.
It was like the 3 A's. Anjell, Asia, and Aziza. And let me tell you, it's just this one time where I had kept winning female figure back to back, right? Didn't know, I don't think I knew who Aziza was at the time. Child, I think it was your ball. That black ball or something?
Okay, yes.
She came out there. Mind you, me and Denzel. Shout out to Denzel. Me and Denzel that night was like, yeah, well, this our trophy. We about to da-da-da-da-da. Honey, Aziza humbled me so quickly. So quickly.
Did she swoop it?
She did. Like, I was like, damn.
I'm crying.
I mean, she came out of nowhere for me because I hadn't seen her before or something. And I damn sure hadn't went against her yet.
Yeah.
So when she came like that.
And she could walk.
I mean, I'm trying to tell you, I was like, she gagged me right the fuck up and humbled me very fast.
Yeah.
Thank you, Aziza. Needed that. But see, and with Asia, I feel like back then, people, well, I don't know what their perspectives was, but I feel like some of their perspectives was that, like, I didn't like Asia or something like that, which was not the case. I didn't like the judges in their decision making. So I used to be a sore loser, throw up my middle fingers, and say, fuck all y'all.
I'm crying.
I did. And I was such a sore loser back then, and it was not great sportsmanship as far as, like, Asia was concerned, but I love them both.
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
when I see them now, it's totally, it's all love. It's always been all love. When I actually finally had a conversation with Aziza and got to have a conversation with her, love her.
You were like the, like, sugar and spice type of person. Like, a lot of people felt like Anjell is very aggressive. Like, y'all do not tick Anjell off the wrong way because she might beat you up, right?
Yeah.
But you also were very sweet too, right? So, like, in the scene at the time, we were very passionate and we used to like have altercations.
Yes.
Right? And balls used to get serious, right? And so, like, looking back in hindsight on like the Anjell back then, like, how do you feel about that?
I mean, looking back at it now, I was just young. I was very loyal to my team. And if somebody had beef with us, then I had beef with them too.
You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of like Naomi Campbell. Because you know, like people say Naomi Campbell was like a bitch.
Yeah.
Like, I don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? Like, and I feel like you definitely played the like Naomi Campbell of Living Legends. Like people who are new in the scene don't know that Anjell.
Yeah.
Right? So they have no idea
that
about
that's
her.
what I be the girl, okay.
Like, the people don't know.
They don't
Anjell
know.
is feisty as shit in the scene, okay? Remember, this is what I want to see in the boombox.
Yes. There was also another time where my purse got stolen at an event. It was at a ball at the water tower.
Okay.
And my purse got stolen, and I had won that night. It was just $25.
It was some money.
But it was some money, and I think the person thought that I put the money in my purse, and I had actually put the money in my bra.
Oh wow!
So my purse got stolen. I'm looking for my purse, whatever. The event is over. I go outside in the parking lot, bitch, and it gave whoever the fuck got my motherfucking purse, like just went off. Like it's like at least 100 people outside. Everybody just kind of slowed down and was looking like, this bitch is fucking crazy. And I just did not give a fuck because I was just pissed. I'm like, why the fuck would you steal my purse? Like, I was so pissed.
So what do you think makes a good female figure runway?
Walking like you're actually walking on a runway, or like New York Fashion Week. When I look back at like the flashbacks of like Naomi Campbell, the lady Yasmin, like, them girls was pumping. Tyra, they was pumping. And they used to do a little turn sometimes. But for us in our category, it was no twists, no turns.
Right.
So like really just a strong runway walk. For me personally, I don't care for the slow walks. And when I look back on some of my footage back then, I feel like I was kind of walking a little slower too than I do now. But I still feel like female figure had a pump to it. Like Asia is still pumping. Juliet is still pumping. Like the girls are still pumping. It's not giving.
The girls used to pump.
It was giving pump. Stormy was storming and pumping. So that's why, like, for me, it's just like still a good strong walk. That hair is still in the wind. You are a supermodel walking in New York Fashion Week.
So where do you think the like touching yourself while you're walking?
I am not sure. I do not.
I see a lot of that with female figure.
I don't know why. In particular, for me personally, just my perspective and my opinion, I don't like it. I don't really care for it. Because why are you touching yourself? It reminds
me of like sex siren.
Yeah, like that's what I was about to say. Like it's very confusing because I'm like, are you walking sex siren right now? Or like, what are we doing?
We don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
Somebody told me to do this.
Yeah, I don't know. And
you can tell it's like somebody told me to do this. I don't know where that came from.
Me neither.
Okay, so no to that decline.
No, yes.
So what was the moment that you realized that you were that bitch?
That chant.
Oh hell!
Oh my gosh!
It's motherfucking Anjell, bitch.
That chance, and honestly, I don't know. I just really distinctly remember it when I had this high ass ponytail with this pink 2-piece thing on, and Kirk was on that mic, and honey, that was like, I was just, even when I look back at the footage, I'm like, ooh. It gave me chills sometimes. I'm like, it was just, yes. And it's like, oh, okay. Because sometimes people feel like you got to do technique or be a battle diva to get recognized as this or that. But you don't have to do all that sometimes.
I feel like, I mean, you have the, the right to feel like this was the point where I became that girl. But I really feel like you were that girl in the scene way before that, right? That time was, I think, the time where you became that girl in our ballroom portion of the scene. But like, far as like the stage, like I feel like you had been made your name, right? And you had really been made your name in the runway stuff too. I think it just was like, now let's give her the deserving chant or whatever, because you were slaying people endlessly before that. You know what I'm saying? So yes, but All Hail Anjell definitely was like such a beautiful and fitting chant for you. You got all this great shit going on with the scene, and you are like one of the girls to beat. You are thriving in your team, you're making moments. But what is happening on the other side of that?
On the other side of that was emptiness, feeling. So coming into this, the lingo, even the way you talk, you still talk like that. Shit, girl. I mean, you need a translator to be around you. If you don't know you, like, you know what I mean? But coming into the lingo, the community, me finally being able to be free, but also not knowing you all and needing that liquid courage to feel like I fit in. Right. So when I was in one of the relationships that I was previously talking about, that was like the start of like my alcoholism. Okay. And I had gotten into a situation where I thought I was going to be drug tested. So I was more so a weed smoker when like I was in college and stuff, like true blue weed head. And then when I thought that I was going to be drug tested for the situation, I just went to alcohol basically. And at first, it's so funny because I didn't really care for alcohol. It used to be so nasty to me. I used to be like, ugh.
Start.
Exactly. Ciao. So after getting into that relationship, I kind of began like day drinking. And then it just was like, ooh, I like who I am when I'm drinking. Like, I feel so confident. I feel like I say stuff that I wouldn't normally say. And I'm more direct and I'm more out there. And that was like, you know, me being cheated on, me feeling insecure as hell. So like me getting on a runway, it's like I could be a different person. I don't have to be that insecure girl when that I am off the runway. Right. And during that relationship, I mean, that was just a lot. Cause like I said, I used to get physical with the people that I dated. So me already being physical and then on top of that, having alcohol involved was even more, I mean, it was just trying it. After that relationship, I got into a relationship with someone who introduced me to cocaine and mollies. And so I started doing cocaine and mollies and, you know, drinking. I was, you know, smoking cigarettes, all that stuff. And with that relationship too, it was also physical. Like I remember one time, girl, you would have thought I went to the dentist. The way that girl kicked me in my face so hard, oh my god! But she was fighting back. I was hitting her first. Okay. So you know, that was just a lot. After that relationship, so now I'm introduced to cocaine, mollies, alcohol, and after that relationship was also another drugs and alcohol relationship.
So this is all during your time modeling?
Some, yes. Like the very first one that I mentioned, where my alcoholism took off, that was definitely during modeling. Okay. The one after, not so much. It was like a little bit, but by that time I was kind of phasing out of the scene. And so...
And phasing out of the scene because you wanted to, or...
I phased out of the scene for multiple reasons. One of them was having to see one of my ex-girlfriends in the scene that I brought her in, and having to see her with other girls from the scene sitting on her lap, kissing, kicking. Bitch, I brought you in the scene. Yeah. I mean, it's no shade, but this is my experience. It's my story. And it was just a lot for me. Yeah. And I was over it. And then also when you drink it, sometimes you feel like the world is just against you.
Yes, ma'am.
So I felt like Living Legends was against me. And I was like, you know what? Just forget it. But the thing was that I became the queen of Living Legends. During my time, I don't know what I was doing because I can't recall. So yes, the drinking and stuff was definitely during then. Maybe not so much the cocaine yet though. So like while I was in the scene, I really hadn't really touched cocaine like that until I was fizzling out. Okay. And there was a particular practice that happened where I got into it with someone, and then Kirk was like, "You could just get out," basically.
I feel like I remember that.
Yeah. And so basically, I felt like Kirk had kicked me out. I think he had said otherwise, as we had talked recently or something. Yeah. But yeah, so I felt like Kirk had kicked me out, and then I went back to Models Inc. And I did a show with Models Inc., and that's where I became Victoria's Secret Inc. And then like I didn't stick around too long because I was doing drugs. Yeah. I was like, I mean, not doing why I was doing drugs. Not necessarily like crack, but like, you know, I was doing cocaine, I was doing Molly, I was just out there partying and bullshitting and just living, or so I thought. And during that time, I just really was, I was working in the restaurant industry in Bowie. And it was just like, it just became like a lifestyle of the, if you in the restaurant industry or a bartender, you know exactly what the fuck I'm talking about. Yeah. And it can swoop you right on in that life. Yes. Just fast. Because I know I'm about to make this money right back tomorrow. So I'm going to spend it on these rooms. Because every time I was with somebody, they was at their parents' house. So we had to spend it on rooms. Okay. They had to spend it on rooms, the drugs, the alcohol, all that stuff. After that relationship, I was actually like, living like in this like trap house, but it didn't really look like a trap house, but it was crazy, girl, whatever. And there I knew that I could get everything that I wanted there. I began to look around me and not see anybody that I knew. Like no best friend of however many years, nobody that I knew. And I was just like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, but I just want to keep doing it because it makes me feel something. It makes me feel invincible and invisible. I say invisible because I felt like when I would like steal a Tic Tac or something from 7-Eleven that they couldn't see me because, you know, I was on cocaine. So it was giving, bitch, they can't see me. I'm invisible, girl, whatever. So yeah.
I'm crying.
But it came a point for me where like I started in conversations being like, yeah, because I'm alcoholic, like knowing like already like, yeah, I know. And that history runs in my family on both sides.
Nice too.
So for me, in 2016, I feel like my parents were trying to tell me like, hey, we about to move to Florida. We don't know what you're going to do, because I was living with my parents. We don't know what you're going to do, where you're going to go, or whatever the case may be, but yeah, you got to figure it out. You need to do something. And then like in the beginning of 2016, I actually went to treatment in Florida. Okay. And they like flew me out, blah, blah, blah. But for me, the thing was, before I went to treatment, my mom used to watch Iyanla Vanzant. And it was this episode of Fix My Life. And they was like playing tug of war. And Iyanla was like on one side and the person was on the other side. And Iyanla kept saying, are you going to fight for your life? Like, are you going to fight for your life? And it that part of my story always resonates with me because I knew I had to do something different. I knew that I could be more than what I was doing. And I knew I had to fight for my life. So I went to treatment in 2016, like in the beginning. I went to Florida. And then I had came back and thought I was like healed, okay? And like, yes, because everything is everything and blah, 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 blah. Like, yeah, no. I ended up drinking when I came back because I was dealing with somebody. And I tried to, and they were in the rehab with me. And I tried to play it like, well, I can still have wine.
Just have a glass.
Girl, no. And so I ended up drinking. As we say in recovery, the disease only progressed. Yeah. I wasn't really a blackout person before, but I began to black out the second time. Yes. Welcome. And I just really remember the insanity of it because I was with one of my friends one time. I was already day drinking myself because towards the end, I became very isolated. I just like to drink by myself in my room. I didn't care for anybody else because the world is against me and nobody cares about me. And I'm very misunderstood. So let me go ahead and yep. And I was out with my friend one time and we went to the bar. Now I blacked out because I don't remember. I remember her and a man carrying me to her car. I remember her having to ring the doorbell at my parents' house and being like, she's like this, she can't move, she can't get out the car, da da da. I come in the house and my body is literally like slamming everywhere, like I couldn't control it. Like my face was hurting the next day because I just kept slamming everywhere. I couldn't stand up. And then finally when I got the strength, like eventually I had to just chill in that room until like I passed out, went to sleep, woke up. And the insanity of it is getting myself to have enough strength to get up them steps to my room and drink again.
And do it all over again.
And drink again. And I'm on the phone with somebody I was talking to at the time, like, hi, I just blacked out. Like, that shit was fucking cute. And so at that time, I was just like, all right, this shit is happening again. But it's worse this time.
Yeah, because it always gets worse.
It always gets worse. And it's so glamorized. Alcohol is so glamorized. Yes, and it's actually something that probably should be fucking banned. Alcohol is crazy, honestly. And I know for me, it became a point where it was like I couldn't have one without the other. So I always wanted to have cocaine with my alcohol. But I couldn't do cocaine by itself because it just made me very shaky. So I always had to drink first and then do cocaine.
Yeah.
But
I always say that alcohol is like the gateway to everything else.
Yeah. I no longer wanted to be on this earth.
Right.
I was very like, I mean, that was like I said at the beginning of the interview, I whipped my own back. I really did. Self-destruction is very much a part of my story. Not thinking. Same. And I never knew. I still look for the root of why I felt like I wasn't good enough.
I still look for the root when I'm looking at you. It's I be trying to figure it out, you know. That's why I said like a lot of people don't know the fight that you went through. Yeah. By looking at you.
Thank you. But yeah, it was just like because I didn't feel like, what am I here for? Nobody care about me for real. Maybe this world would be better without me. What am I doing? Like all of those things. And I just remember drinking to the point of like it was really hurting my stomach. And I was on the phone with my best friend at the time. And I was really like, I think I need to go back to rehab. And he was like, you sure? And I'm like, yes. Like I know I need to go back to rehab. So basically, my stepfather ended up taking me to the emergency room. And he literally was like, you're not going down on my couch. So you need to figure it out. Wow. And I didn't have no job, no car. I was living with my parents. Like, it was like, I do need to figure something out. Because what the fuck am I doing? So I ended up going into rehab again. That was on October 14th, 2016. I feel like when I really surrendered, like for real that time, it was different. Because I cared about myself. Like, I still have my times now. Yeah. But it will never be that low that I once was at. It will never be that dark. Because I know I love myself enough today to not put myself through that misery anymore. I know I deserve more than that. I know my worth today. And I know I'm enough today. But when I think about those times, it's like, damn, I was really like
some hard shit.
Yeah. Like mentally, it's always that mental jail, right?
That emotional bottom.
It's like it's crazy, but I know that I had to. This is the part that I was really waiting for in the interview, because I know that it's a lot of people in our scene that are broken and empty, unhappy, and feel misunderstood, and feel like they have to drink or do drugs to feel a part of, or to feel whole, or to feel like they're enough. But me and China are literally a living
proof
that you don't.
Living proof. So us being able to stand strong on our recovery and say that like we as women do fall short in the scene too. You know what I mean? It's not just the guys who are struggling or who have struggled. Women struggle in the scene too with addiction, and you are the person who literally pulled me. Because I was talking to Trey about, like, me helping pull him from his bootstraps. But, like, you are the person who helped me pull myself from my bootstraps. And you never gave up on me, ever, right? When I was coming to you, like, bitch, I can't live like this no more. Like, crying about the same stuff, doing the same shit, expecting something different, which is the definition of insanity. I just commend you on being there for me through all of the shit that we had been through prior to. Like when it came to recovery, it's more serious. Like this is our lives we're talking about, right? So just for anybody out there that is struggling with addiction, what would you say to them?
You're not too young. Because I feel like one of the things is that, oh, I'm so young, I could still keep doing this.
I got another run.
I got another run in me. It's okay. All my friends are doing it. Like I just said, it's so glorified and glamorous. And it doesn't look like crack. So it's acceptable, right? But if you love yourself enough to know that you need to change something, change it. Because it does get better over on this side. When I first got into recovery, I was just going to give this thing 6 months, and 6 months turned into, God willing, almost 8 years. Woo! So it's like, amazing. I've still been able to do everything that I thought I couldn't do. Be in a ballroom scene. I was scared to be in a ballroom scene sober. but I still been
I
able
remember
to
that
do
time.
it. Yeah, like moving out of state.
Yeah,
all of the things that scare me, I was still able to do sober. I mean, it's just such a spiritual experience.
Yes,
it's such a spiritual and mental experience. But I am definitely enjoying the journey today. I used to want to hurry up and get to my destination, but I'm enjoying my journey today.
What would you say to all the teams still out today as motivation?
To keep going and to never give up, because we are starting to be seen.
Yes.
On different platforms now, with particular superstardom artists.
Yeah.
So we don't know when our time is coming, but let's unify. And when I say unify, because like there was a ball in particular that happened this past, I'm just going to bring it back full circle, like in February. Not CMF related, but all the CMF people was out that night. And I literally had like Banger Mother tell me like, you know, you look good, you look a little tired, but you know, you look good. But just hearing the words that they had to say brought it back full circle for me, because I started with y'all. Yeah. So y'all seeing me now, but still giving me those encouraging words, and just the space that we all were in at that ball was just so beautiful to see. Yeah. And it's like, I want us to be able to do this all the time with all of the companies. To be able to, because it's no telling what could happen. Absolutely. Or being on somebody's Netflix, Hulu, whatever. Hello. When everybody comes together. Yep. So like, it's really beautiful when we all do really come together. Absolutely. But keep working, keep showing up, keep pushing, no matter what you're going through in your life. Keep showing up, because that opportunity that you're looking for is going to come.
What are some of your goals right now in your today story?
So I still would like to do like Paris Fashion Week, because that's something that I have not touched yet. I still would also like to be in particular magazines as well. Other stuff I'm not going to discuss, because I'm going to keep that to myself. Okay. We don't want to mess it up. Right. I don't want to mess it up, but it's still things that I want to do that are of the industry that I, you know, that's why I moved up there. I'm going to say New York, bitch. That's why I moved to New York. Okay. Because I wanted to fulfill my dreams and goals of modeling, and that's not done yet. Yeah. But ultimately, I am going to be a businesswoman as well. So I still got some things that's coming. Up your sleeve.
Well, we are all rooting for you in your endeavors. I know moving was like a big deal for you, and like you did that shit. Thank you. And like I still miss you down here, but like things needed to change so that you could grow, and I'm so proud of you. Thank you. And I can't wait to see what you have in store.
Thank you.
Well, we are out of time. We have time for one little thing that we do at every episode of Talk the Walk podcast, and it is our fast money. Okay, I'm gonna put some time on the clock, and we're gonna run these down. Are you ready?
I don't think so.
You got to do it fast,
girl.
Okay, you ready?
Sure.
Bang or Fuji? Bang or Fuji?
Fuji.
D or Shonda?
D.
Runway or ball?
Runway.
Fashion footage or CMF?
The footage.
Money or fame?
Money or fame? Money.
Stilettos or platforms?
Platforms.
Thank you so much for playing Fast Money, and thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining me on the Talk the Walk podcast. I love you.
My girl.
Thank you guys. See you later.